A lot of potential over trading in the market today by me. We're going to review today's price action and trades today and talk about it. So let's get right into it. This is Futures Brizio at 7:40 p.m. on Thursday, December 4th, 2025. Hope you had a great day. As always, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel before we get started, and any questions, comments, leave them down below. So yeah, I I jumped in here early this morning and actually took my first trade before the North American session. I keep calling it the New York session because I used to trade forex. So in the forex market, you have London, New York, Asia, your three primary sessions. In futures, it doesn't really work that way. Although a lot of these markets are open during what we'd call the London session or the overnight pre-market session. But so I took my first trade this morning around 8:30 or so a.m., which is about an hour before these ag markets open for the North American session. So a little bit different. And but then it just kind of like kept going from there, and it was a reasonably profitable day, but could have been a lot better if I had been more selective. But sometimes the market was definitely moving better than it was yesterday, and so that was the reason why I took the trades I did. So we'll do a quick review and just see what was going on. So since we're on Hogs here, we'll start right here. And this was the trade today. I took a long right here when price failed to begin to move lower off this little resistance area. This is what I was talking about yesterday. This is the 30-minute chart. We have this resistance area. Price started to move off of here before the market closed yesterday. These two bear candles happened yesterday. You can see 2 o'clock. So this was the closing candle before the market closed yesterday. And so it looked like we were going to open lower today and continue to move down. We actually opened with a gap higher right at the resistance level. And then I ended up taking a long. You can see right here, but you can see I very quickly closed it. Essentially break even. I got maybe, actually I lost 2 ticks. So it was about a $20 loss, something like that. $10 loss. It wasn't much. But you can see it just didn't really go anywhere. That's why I closed it, because it kept throwing these wicks, and you can see that's what it did the whole day, all these tiny range candles and wicks. Although it did drift a little higher, but essentially it closed, back around, around where the candle was that I exited on the day. So it really wasn't anything to cheer about. So anyway, so Hogs is just kind of like stuck in the water right now. So we'll just move on from that. Rice did, again, not to beat a dead horse, just talk about this one more time. We've got some key levels sitting down here on the weekly chart. So that we have not broken through, but we haven't definitively moved higher either. And again, this is the 4-hour chart. I like to look at like middle of the road time frames for a longer market structure. And, this thing is still in a downtrend. I mean, we had the swing high in the 4-hour did lead to a new low. But, this area sitting down here and a little bit below here are those weekly lows. And so we'll have to see if that holds, or are we going to get just, another bounce up here and then have another push down, which we could still push down. We are not at those weekly lows yet, and there are lows even below that. But so until this area is breached, we get a major breach of one of these like 4-hour structures like this one, then this is still in a downtrend. So we'll see what happens with that. Soybeans, I took a long off this, very, very quick long off this support area right here that I highlighted yesterday. You can see right where the horizontal line is here. This was an area that was showing up as support. So I did take this trade, and this long position, and I took a couple of points out of it, and then I exited because I just didn't like the I didn't like the looks of this. And I'm sorry, this was a short position. I took the short because this was trading up, and then I saw this and I took it. You can see I only took a couple of points, and the reason why I got out is because it wicked down right just below this this support level. I'm sorry, guys. I'm thinking about another market, but yeah. So this wicked down, and then it quickly snapped back. You can see these two big wicks right here. And so when I saw this first one, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to jump out of this because it's reacting off that level. So I took a couple of points, and then you can see the market really did nothing again the rest of the day. This is where I exited, and price just kind of like, went up a little bit past there and then came back and essentially closed back about where I exited my position. Or where I entered the position right here. So there really wouldn't have been any benefit to hold this thing. It never went back down again. So we'll see what happens if we get any kind of movement, if this becomes like a swing low right here and we start to move higher, or whether we just continue to go down. If we do take out this previous low that was set today, then, the next lows are a little bit further down, not too far, right about here. But, that's probably about 1 day of price action. And then, below that is some further, some action down here. But anyways, this is a key area. I've been highlighting those the last couple of days that it's a little bit risky to trade off these zones because they're usually going to be reactive. Doesn't mean there'll be reversals from these areas, but there will be reaction. And we did see that today. So I took that quick trade, and as soon as we tagged that support area, I got out. The other one that I took for the exact same reason was soybean oil, and this was also at the same time. This was the one I took pre-market. Yeah, this was 8:30 this morning, and you can see it went down, and I got out right here at this low, and you can see price snapped right back. And again, well, this one's a little bit different than soybeans because there's no long-term support area here, but we were moving in an uptrend, and so I just kind of figured that, with this giant bull candle right here, that if price was going to go down, it was probably going to react off of, where this breakout was. And this area right here, if you just look left, has been an area of support and resistance before. We have kind of like resistance in here. We have support, 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 resistance, support, resistance. So this area right here has been eyed before. So when it snapped down there, and considering that but more importantly, because I was considering that we were in an uptrend overall, I didn't want to hold this. But on the short time frame, on the 30-minute, the reason for the trade was coming into the session, we were in a short-term downtrend, and this looked to me very corrective. Price went up during the pre-market. We had these, couple of little initial small range bear candles before there was any real volume in the market. So I jumped in just in case, and I got in, and then the price did spike down, and I got out at this low, as you can see right here. And this good thing I did because it came back, and if I had held this, it would have ended up stopping me out because I had my stop above this swing. So it was a good trade in that it was quick. It literally was, I was in and out of this in, in less than an hour. So, quick trade, wasn't great, but like I said, it was short-term downtrend, but longer term, the price is still up. So that's why you have to be always cautious about at least know what's going on the higher time frames. It doesn't mean you can't trade the opposite direction. I've said this a million times. On the shorter time frame, in this case, the 30-minute, there was a short setup here, but you have to respect what's going on the higher time frame. And at least for now, this is still in an uptrend. Now, if this turns out to be, whether it comes up a little bit more, but we get some kind of, lower high forming in here, okay, whether, no matter where it ends up, and then, it rolls over and ends up taking out this low, then, that could be a resumption of the downtrend. Maybe it turns out that this was the structure area that got broke, right? This area right here. Price pulled back, went up, broke that structure here, It's retesting it now. You can see this candle kind of lines up with these lows. So this is a retest, and then it rolls over and keeps going down. That very well could be what happens. That this just turns out to be a dead cat bounce in a bear trend. But I don't know. And like I said, I'm not trying to predict it. But what I'm trying to show you here is that there was a short-term sell, very short-term, quick in and out sell that was theoretically a counter trend trade against this larger trend. But this larger trend could be in trouble, right? This could be just the resumption of a larger downtrend. You know, again, like I said, if this was our market structure and this broke it, then this is just a retest, this pullback that happened later in the day, you know, that all these blue candles, and that eventually, you know, will roll back over and continue down. So it'll be curious to see what happens tomorrow. It could go up a little higher and then roll over. It doesn't mean it's going to roll back over from here, but we'll see. So that was soybean oil. This was the other decent trade, was in Canadian dollar. And you can see the trade right here. All right, we're trending up. And then this was, again, that's, I got to go to a shorter time frame just to see what time this was. This entry was at 9 o'clock. So this was around the 4X open, even though this is not 4X. Obviously, the Canadian dollar trades on the 4X market, spot 4X market pairs, but which that market opens around 8:30. So this was kind of the currency market open right here. And so because of that, and it looked like we were putting in, you know, you can see higher low, higher low. I looked at this as a higher low. It was a decent pullback, like a 50% pullback. And I started seeing some bearish price action right here when this started forming. I say, okay. And then, you know, once I saw this one start to form up, then I jumped in and I got out right at the top here. And the reason why I got out at the top there is because, and actually went just slightly over my TP there, is because of this equal high. We had this high, price came up here, came up again. You can see price keeps getting rejected off this 71.80 zone right in here. So I didn't want to push it, and it's a good thing, you know, because you can see that it was strongly rejected and then went back down again the rest of the day. Now, this could easily just turn into a new swing low right here, which I'm going to mark this as a swing low on this time frame, and then we could, just go up and make a new high tomorrow or during the London session overnight tonight. The market is open now, but I mean, I'm not going to trade this, but theoretically I could. It's just, you know, this time of day is just not when I like to trade this. Okay. So that was the trade in Canadian dollar. And then I've got this trade sitting here, which this is my funding account. I forgot to close it. So it's stuck open. My broker did not close it on me automatically. Usually they don't let you carry trades. They close them out automatically. But I think it depends what your margin is, what your free margin is, and they'll let it ride. So when the overnight session reopens, which I think is at 8 o'clock in like 5 or 6 minutes, I'll be able to close this if I want. Probably what's going to happen, it's showing $150 profit. That's where it closed out. My guess is when this opens, it's going to gap a little bit higher, and this $150 profit will either become much smaller. Hopefully it won't gap too much. Hopefully it gaps down, and then I can get out at a better price. But I will close this once it opens. So I took a couple of trades in here today. This one was a loser. This first one, 2 ticks. This one was a winner, 2 ticks. So these two basically washed out. And then I have this one. So a little bit of over trading here going on on this. And, you know, obviously looking at this is still in a downtrend. But you can see also, similar to soybeans, that this is sitting at this key support level. You know, this was the last major swing on this last big round up. And price is reacting off of here. We've had several touches on this 311 zone approximately. And, looking left here, all these little tips on it right here. All these little 4-hour candles hitting it right here. So price is definitely having a hard time breaking through. So, again, it doesn't mean it's going to reverse. We would have to, again, take out some significant market structure to reverse this trend. So, probably something like this to break over. That would take out this swing high and even this high made today to kind of reverse this trend. In the meantime, this is still in a downtrend. So I am going to exit this trade when the market reopens. I don't know if I'll still be on here because I'm going to be wrapping up in a minute. But either way, that's the way that looks. And then corn, 2 trades on this today, both long. One of them was a 2-tick loss, and one was basically a break even. So I did take a losing trade. Essentially, 2 trades on this, 1 loser, 1 break even, and on corn. And we're just kind of playing around. I think this gap, and I've talked about this gap, is still causing a lot of angst here. And you can see, price, the reason why I took the long is because price seemed to bounce off this little support zone. And it's seeming like the market does not want to go and fill in this gap, and it wants to just trade off of here. And so that's why I took the long. But, now that we've gone through the day of price action, it could be that this is, a lower high right here. And that, from here we turn down and go down and maybe try to fill this gap. So we'll have to see what happens tomorrow. But that's why I took the longs, because I thought we were going to get a nice clean bounce off here for a new high, but it didn't happen. It rejected twice at this level around 447, 448, and did nothing really the rest of the day after that in first hour or so. And so like I said, we'll have to see if this turns into a swing lower high. And then if we fail from here, I would expect this gap to get filled. Okay. But that's to be determined. So, yeah. So that's it, guys. I'll be watching these levels tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. So again, it's not that I don't trade on Friday, but things quiet down pretty early. But I've been noticing I've been getting in out of these trades pretty quick recently. And, so we'll see what happens. If we're able to break any of these support levels in the soy complex, especially soybeans and soy meal, and with corn, to see if we do roll over down to go and try to fill this this gap right here. And Canadian dollar, potentially, we'll have to see. We've had multiple rejections off this area to see if we can finally roll over and go higher. But as long as we hold above this swing, then technically we're still in an uptrend, although it's struggling to get through this area up here. Now we've had multiple hits to try to go higher. So we'll have to see if the bulls finally do take control and smash through this level decisively, or if they come down and take out this swing and send prices lower. So to be determined. Like I said, I give you both sides because I'm not trying to really predict. I'm trying to give you both scenarios, and I just play by, what I see at the time. So, and it's easy to kind of look at it now when the market's either quiet or not really doing much this time of day. But eventually it'll show its hand, during the normal session. All right, so I'll leave it there, guys. I hope you have a great night. I'll be back tomorrow. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and any questions, comments, leave them down below, and we'll talk tomorrow. All right, have a great night.